Fox News has agreed to pay an enormous, a historic price for broadcasting conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. The network reaching a last-minute settlement with Dominion Voting Systems for more than $787 million. They struck the agreement, I should say, right before the defamation trial was about to begin. Dominion's lawyers say it's a victory for truth and democracy.
Dominion tells CNN that the deal does not require Fox News anchors to go on air and tell viewers that they lied. Here's what Fox said in a statement when the news broke.
I do have a statement from Fox, Neil. We are pleased to have reached a settlement of our dispute with Dominion Voting Systems. We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. The settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards.
We just want to give you now a small sample of the broadcasts that got Fox News in trouble. Here it is.
Sydney, we talked about the Dominion software. I know that there were voting irregularities. Tell me about that.
Electronic voting machines didn't allow people to vote, apparently. And that, whatever you think of it, the cause of it, it shakes people's faith in the system. That is an actual threat to democracy.
And this morning, we're hearing from the CEO of Dominion Voting Systems. Watch this.
There was an acknowledgement, and certainly it's not the way I wrote it. I had some conversations with our team, my co-founder and I. And at the end of the day, the court system really is about accountability. We feel we got it. All of the facts that we had discovered during the case had already come to light.
Joining us now, lead counsel for Dominion, Justin Nelson. Justin, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. I think one of the big questions this morning is sort of how do you put a price tag on trust in U.S. democracy, right? You can't put a price on that, as one of our colleagues writes on CNN this morning. Was this about money for Dominion, or was this about truth?
Well, I think it was really our two goals were accountability and to get compensation for this massive amount of harm that occurred to the company. And I think we achieved both. On the truth, on the accountability, over the past few months, you've seen this mountain of evidence that has been revealed in texts and emails that really show that, in fact, Fox knew that it was lies. And the statement that Fox released yesterday acknowledged the court's order that called these false. This was the first time that a court has held that the election lies were, in fact, lies. And this was the first time that someone has been held accountable in the form of a nearly $800 million payment for that. It is also, of course, a civil litigation. And it's about making my client whole. And although this does not make my client whole, it is a step in that direction. And instead of going for years to appeal and to verdict, we got an $800 million settlement, nearly $800 million settlement. And we're proud of what we did. And we do think it's a victory both for truth and for accountability.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, Justin, because in the statement, I mean, Fox says, this is just part of it. We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. They didn't exactly say that they lied. And there is, among the public, there is a feeling that it may have been better, Justin, for the Fox News anchors and their leaders, their management, to take the stand, to acknowledge the lies publicly, that would have sent a stronger message. What do you say to that?
Well, I would say that there was that acknowledgement, and I would also say that in the civil litigation system, we could have gotten a 10, 20 billion, you name the billion-dollar award, and they still wouldn't have had to apologize or to go on air to say that they were wrong. What we can do in a civil litigation system is to bring accountability by exposing the truth and by having compensation for the harm that occurred. And on that, we accomplish both by a wide margin.
Would you have preferred, if you could have gotten your druthers, to have the Fox News anchors and folks on air say, you know what, we lied, or at least have them have to make a statement? Would you have preferred that?
It's always bittersweet when you settle a case because you think you have a great case. The issue is, of course, that there's always risk in going to a jury trial. And my client really, these employees of Dominion have been so incredibly harmed, and they still get threats, death threats. It's really difficult for the company to be operating. And so for them to have this settlement really does mean a lot. And remember, this is just the first step. We have 6 other cases against other defendants who are, some of them are still lying about the election. And so what we think and we're really proud of is that this really is the first time that someone has been held accountable for the results and the lies that were told after the 2020 election.
Other defendants, who might that be?
Well, we have a case against Newsmax. We have a case against One American News. And then, of course, we have cases against Sidney Powell and Mike Lindell and MyPillow and Rudy Giuliani and Patrick Byrne. And so we think that we will continue to hold people accountable for the lies that they told. I mean, look, ultimately, misinformation is not going away. The truth does not know red or blue. And what we have to do is really, if we're going to have this shared experiment in democracy, we have to have a common commitment to facts. And we can disagree, we can have different opinions, even on our most profound issues. But if we are not able to agree on facts, then that is when we're going to have these just bubbles of where we don't talk to each other. And what happened to Dominion is it just got swept in this torrent of lies, where it was in this alternative universe. And I do hope that this really does send a message that it is so important to tell the truth. And that if you don't tell the truth, lies have consequences. And I think this is what it established. And that is why there is accountability today. There's accountability to Dominion, and there's accountability to democracy.
Justin, former Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson tweeted a few days ago, "Please do not settle. You are about to prove something very big." She, of course, was successful not only in her litigation against Fox News, but in arbitration, but in changing the law when it comes to secret mandatory arbitration. I just wonder if there are things about Fox's lies and how they conducted themselves behind closed doors that now the public will not know because there will be no trial.
Well, I think that what you saw in the past couple months that has come out in our summary judgment briefing and that already is public has really revealed behind the scenes that Fox did know that these were lies. That was a really big question going into this. Did Fox really know it? Did the anchors who were saying it really believe it? And I think that we've seen the evidence. We've seen the evidence from these crazy emails that started it all to people saying that Sidney Powell was lying to the motive that occurred. And this was all in black and white in documents that have been revealed. So would the trial have put on that same evidence? Of course. But at the end of the day, I think the accountability came from what already has happened over the last months. And of course, the payment itself, having a nearly $800 million payment really, I think, sends a strong message about what it means to lie.
Justin Nelson, thank you for your time. We'll be following those, I think, 6 other cases that you are lead counsel in as well as this progresses. Thanks very, very much.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.